In Chapter 5 of Feldman's Reason and Argument, there is a copy of a cartoon, a Calvin and Hobbes comic strip that appeared, well, obviously in 1993. I say obviously because the copyright is 1993. And it makes a point, and I think it makes an important point about reconstructing arguments. And let's take a quick look at the comic. So you have the, and I never know who Calvin is and who Hobbes is, but the one looks at the other and says, I used to hate writing assignments, but now I enjoy them. Hey, doesn't that apply to us? Writing assignment? Good. I realize that the purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure poor reasoning, and inhibit clarity. I realized that the purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure poor reasoning, and inhibit clarity. With a little practice, writing can be an intimidating and impenetrable fog. Want to see my book report? The dynamics of interesting and mythological imperatives in Dick and Jane, a study in the psychic transrelational gender modes. Academia, here I come. I mean, so what's the point of all this? I mean, the point is what we're trying to do in our study of informal logic and our study of arguments is to try to make things clear. In fact, if you take a look at that second frame in the strip, he says, I realize that the purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure poor reasoning, and inhibit clarity. That's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish in this course. We're trying to make sure we have good ideas, well-formed ideas, that we don't have any poor reasoning, rather we reason well, and that we make things crystal clear. And I think that's why Feldman put this in his book, because it's to point out to us what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Because if you notice in the last frame of the comic, he ends up writing or having a title, a very silly title to a book report on, and perhaps you guys don't get the Dick and Jane reference. I don't know. When I was a kid growing up learning how to read, we had these books, these Dick and Jane books. See Dick run, run Dick run, see Jane run. Those were our first readers. That's how we learned to read. And I think the Bill Watterson, the guy who draws the comic, who makes the comic, is pointing out that he's trying to basically take a very simple idea, which is what you get in your first reader, see Dick, see Jane, and trying to make it obscure, make it hard to understand. Our goal in the course is to do the exact opposite. It's to make everything simple, clear, so you can follow what's going on. And it's trying to take, and this is what reconstructing arguments is, it's trying to take things that were made perhaps a little bit overly complicated and simplify them so that we can understand them and decide if they have merit or not.